This is called Retrospect. Basically, I'm going to take a look at a take I had in regards to the whole Destiny situation. I'm going to analyze it. And maybe I was wrong. You guys let me know. And one thing he said, I think he said something like, you know, that was me a couple of years back. I'm on Vyvanse now, which Vyvanse I think is like some kind of drug, ADHD. I don't know. He's like, I'm on Vyvanse now. I'm really just focused on political stuff. I want to stay away from the drama. It's like, I didn't realize they made a, you know, finding God moment for druggies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how some people do a bunch of fuck shit for their whole life, and all of a sudden they go to church once and they're like, I found God. Like it absolves all the bullshit that they've just done. I don't know. It was such a weird way. Like when you're being said that you're doing a bunch of foul shit and you've hurt a bunch of people, and like mentioning the fact that you're on Vyvanse and you're a changed person. It's just like, I don't know. Something about it just seemed off to me. All right, pause. Okay. Watching myself talk is always funny because half the time I'm like, you shut the fuck up. And it's interesting to watch it now because I was just yapping, right? I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. Actually, when this video came out, somebody I knew contacted me and she was like, Abba, I saw the video, it was fine, but the whole portion that you did in regards to Vyvanse and ADHD, I think you should look into it. And I was like, what are you yapping about? So I go to look into it and the funniest thing happens. I start reading this shit off, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know ADHD was all, because we all have this preconception of what ADHD is, which is, Preach, you might agree, essentially it's like, you just can't focus for more than 2 minutes.
It's more than that, but what?
But it is more than that. I'm saying that's a general perception. Yeah. Anyone watching, you let me know, that's probably how we receive when we hear about ADHD. I start reading this stuff, and then I talk to her about it, and she's like, well, you know, there's this and that symptom, all this other stuff, and I was like, okay. And as I'm sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, wait.
Real recognize real. You look a little bit familiar.
Yeah. You know that Spider-Man meme where the motherfuckers stand, it's like, and then they're staring at each other? I was like, damn, a lot of these symptoms actually sound like stuff I went through. So I was like, fuck it. And she's like, you know what? If you really feel strongly about this, why don't you go talk to your doctor? So I called my clinician. I'm like, hey, can we get an appointment? He's like, sure, we'll have this conversation. He runs me through all the tests. They give you a bunch of charts. You have to have people around you answer the questions on the charts. And then I go to sit in for the results. So he sits down and he's like, so how do you feel? I'm like, same as before I did this test. It takes a couple weeks. He's like, cool. And he's like, so based off the readings, you have ADHD. And I was like, okay, word. And then I'm like, so what are we talking about here? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, give me a scale. Like on a scale of like, it's a minor problem to like, I'm a train wreck. Like, where would you put me? He's like, I give you an 8 out of 10. I was like, no, I need like a metaphor. He's like, an 8 out of 10. I was like, okay. And then as we're talking about my childhood and everything, I was like, oh, that's why like I was always falling asleep in class. I could never focus. One of the reasons I ended up not going to university or college is because I'm like this, like I lose my mind being in a classroom and just, I can't focus at all. And then I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then, oh, that incident here. And then he also talked about different symptoms, like how it can manifest. I was like, what would that look like? And he's like, hypersexuality would be one indication. I was like, oh, wow. And he's like, yes, you might engage in a lot of impulsive behavior, right? And it's not even necessarily that you enjoy doing these things. There's an impulsivity that you can't help. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm like, how do we fix this? And he goes, well, there's medication. I was like, well, tell me more. He's like, Vyvanse. And I was like, wait, I know about this drug. So I'm like, fine, you know, let me test it out. I mean, I like drugs, all kinds, legal, illegal, don't matter. So I take the pills, I go home, he gives me different dosages. He goes 20, 30, 40, 50, start at the lowest. So I take the 50. And let me tell you, listen to your doctor.
This nigga's a retard.
And I will tell you, it was the most insane day of my life. It's like, the best way I could describe it, the first time I took Vyvanse was, it's like your brain is in a room, the lights are always on, and then you take the medication and the lights turn off, and you're like, oh, this is what darkness is like. Like your brain just functions one way, and then you take this stuff and you're like, who am I underneath this this disorder? But I started taking the medication kind of regularly, and I'll be honest with you, it's probably been one of the most life-changing experiences. I think that's like top 3 for me. it's been making me reassess a lot of things because a lot of things that I just thought were part of my personality or part of who I was actually more so linked to the disorder itself. And I'm not saying the disorder is necessarily something completely separate from me, but the behavioral changes that came afterwards were so drastic that it made me reassess a lot of things. And I realized there is a world where you are hypersexual and you are being very impulsive and making really stupid fucking decisions. And it's just because you're not medicated. Does this absolve the person necessarily? No, that's not what I'm saying yet. If someone is dealing with something that they're not treating and they're engaging in bad behavior, it's possible that because it's untreated, that's really like the core aspect. But ADHD is a real thing. It is a bitch. And I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about when I said all that shit. So I should just own it. See? All right. And I think I appreciate the claps. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my thing. Okay. But I wanted to say this just because over the course of 10 years of doing videos on YouTube, there's been a lot of takes or opinions that have shifted for me over time. And as you learn, you grow, you try to reassess. But it's very rare that we have a chance to go backwards and reassess these things. And for anyone who might be discovering that video today, I hope that at least this video kind of serves as like a middle ground to say like, hey, I thought of this then with more information. This is where I'm at now. And I want to present that to you guys. It's even like weirder for me because I am a functional adult. Like I have my own place. I clean I wash my ass. I do my homework. You know what I mean? I do my, I have a job and
Thanks for being functional, dude.
Yeah, I do.
Wash my ass.
I wash my ass. But with that in mind, there's a lot of inefficiencies in my day-to-day life. Like there's like this crippling procrastination, but it's like the dumbest fucking shit. Like very basic stuff that's easy to do will take me a long time to get it done. And then other things I could just spend 10 hours editing. And it's just like, why could I not just send this fucking email? Because like I'll tell you one of the most crippling things. I'll see an email, I'll look at it, and I'm like, all I have to say is like, thanks, I'll reply. And I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. And I just put it off. And it just causes all these extra problems for me. I'm like, why is this a problem? And I think with that, I was like, okay, now it's no longer an issue. It's like, this was causing a lot of that.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this isn't a part of my personality of who I am. This is a side effect of something that many people in the world have. And it doesn't mean that you're dumb or something's wrong with you. It just means that you particularly need to be lit up by something to give it 10 hours of your focus. But if you give it and you're lit up, it's going to be the best 10 hours of your life. If something doesn't interest you, don't even look my way.
Right. But the problem with that is you can't go through life only doing the things you're interested in. Exactly. And I think I realized this with my relationships. Not even just talking about like romantic. I'm just talking about even like familial or friendships. The biggest downside of this thing was like, I was not doing the labor that's necessary to maintain those relationships. So whether it being the replying in a timely fashion, making the effort to reach out. I find phone shit super tedious. Like showing up for my friends in person, easy. But like a lot of the trying to keep in contact, the sending thanks, the sending well wishes, like that was impossible for me.
Yeah, me too. Right? I feel that.
And now with this, like I can reply to my mom very quickly. And then like, it seems so small, but that minor label that you're able to do on a regular basis has such an impact on the relationship dynamic. And for me, I think it makes it much easier for me to be present for the people around me. It makes it a lot easier for me to be even present for myself, to do the things that I have to do in the little ways in the day to day. So that's why I say it's been life-changing, because I just thought like, oh, like you're supposed to be like this because it's what comes natural, not recognizing there's an underlying problem that I haven't dealt with. That's like, literally, I just felt like it was part of me and I didn't realize it is, but it's also separate to some degree and it's fixable. So,
but for so many years, how long did you just feel like that was a part of your personality?
I didn't even think it was like part of my personality. I just thought it was me. Like, because I didn't even know what ADHD was. So when you're undiagnosed, like, it's like not a thing. Mm-hmm. So for me, it wasn't even a thing. It's just me. Right.
Yeah. This is just who I am.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's interesting now because you start to like retrospectively look at every relationship dynamic. You're like, oh, I could have done that differently, consistently. And I could have spoken to these people differently, family. And that's a whole set of like, it's almost like mourning.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, okay. So this is the two things that I'm thinking of when I'm going through this. Is the ADHD me? Or is who I am after I take the meds me? And based off of that answer, I look back at everything in my life and say, if the new me was there, how much different would I have been? How much different would those relationship dynamics have been? And then I go through that mourning process because it's like, I didn't get to be present for certain people. I didn't get to show up to certain events. I didn't get to make them feel special or vice versa, or I didn't do the labor I needed to have certain opportunities. So you're just like, oh, there's this whole other life I think I would have lived because I'm already living a completely different life than how I was living now that I've taken the meds. Don't do what I did. I was definitely really stupid because like that shit hit me like bricks, bro. I had physical symptoms that was crazy. I was buzzing for 2 days. I didn't sleep.
Well,
I had like muscle cramps everywhere.
You know what they say,
I was like,
man?
and then now I'm on the right dose. I was like, I'm chilling.
Play retard games, get retard prizes. That's what
Wait,
it is, bro.
Yo, so I took the 50 and I went on a date. First
No,
date.
you're stupid.
God, crazy. I was sitting in that restaurant just buzzing, bro.
And you were actually listening to her?
And she's like, you know what she said? You know what she said? She's like, damn, that's crazy. Like, you replied quickly for the first time. I was like, yeah. I'll show up. And she was like, you just seem different. I was asking her questions and shit. I was paying attention. She's like, oh, she felt really seen and stuff. I never went on a second date, but it was a great first date. And we talked about like when you're interested in something, it's very easy to do. But from a work standpoint, there's a lot of things that you sometimes have to do that's just not fun to do. And the delays in that kind of throw everything off. So even like making this podcast happen or making this live show happen, it's much easier now to get all the little details done in place now that I'm taking this stuff because of the fact that I don't have this mental delay where it's just like incredible labor to like reply to an email or contact people, organize. And I'm really happy that we're doing this because for me, it gives me an opportunity to like really flesh out ideas, to really go and like put effort into the preparation for large scale projects. I think when you're on ADHD, the easiest thing to do is to show up for things you're interested in. But sometimes doing the labor of things that are not as fun for the stuff you're interested in, that's hard. So for example, we're doing stand-up, writing. Writing can be really hard, but doing stand-up is the easiest thing. Why? Because there's stimulation, you're up on stage, there's bright lights, there's an audience. But the actual writing process, which is so important for improving, that's a lot harder. So, you know, for me, it's like in this line of work, I don't think I have a choice but to kind of take it because if I don't, then I'm going to always stagnate. I think recently I wrote like a 10-page document for a video we were about to do. I did research on laws, legal matters, everything in terms of statutes and clause. And I was like, well, I can actually do the necessary work so that when we come to do the video, I'm much more informed. So I don't know. For me, it's been changing even from a work standpoint.
Do you feel like it's also giving you a new sense of confidence and integrity? Just being able to be like, oh, I can do this. I can sit down for 10 hours and organize myself. And maybe that anxiety that's underlying with a lot of ADHD and people who have ADHD, do you find that kind of having this new avenue in your life where you're like, I wrote a 10-page document, which is maybe something I didn't feel like I could do in high school. Do you find yourself having a different type of confidence now that you're on the medication?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I always knew I could do a lot of the things that I'm doing. I just wasn't always confident that I had it's not motivation. It's just like the capability of doing the things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Or the things that are not like stimulating. Mm-hmm. That's what I lacked before. And I think before it wasn't a big insecurity. I'll tell you why. I was aware that I had that limitation. You can ask Preach. Preach would like suggest ideas that were grandiose or stuff. And I'm like, no, because I know I'm not going to follow through on that. And that's like probably the thing that I hate the most. I hate making a commitment to people and then failing to come through on that. It's like I feel a sense of shame about it oftentimes. So for me, I would just say no to a lot of things because I knew I wasn't going to do what's necessary. And I take people's time and effort and money seriously. So I don't want to take people's whatever they're providing to me and then not showing it the due diligence that it's necessity.
I come from a time where ADHD didn't exist. So when my parents thought I was stupid because I was going to school and was failing, they got me to we don't understand. This kid is super intelligent, but when he goes to school, he's a retard. So we don't understand what the fuck going on. And I went to the specialist, and that dude, even though he was a specialist, it didn't exist. ADD, ADHD didn't exist. Yeah. So he said, oh yeah, he's just faking to be hyperactive.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to fucking spell that bitch. How the fuck am I gonna pretend to be a bitch that I can't even spell? Explain me all these fucking documents that you call fucking diplomas ain't worth shit, buddy. Cause you say that I'm faking some shit I can't spell. I don't even know what it means. Don't come for me. Don't come for me, Jordan. I don't know what the fuck it means.
I also don't like that question, Jordan.
Yeah, I don't like that question. Fuck
And I don't understand it.
So I was like, yo, fuck that shit.
Yeah, I'll
That's
definitely
funny.
back you up on that. I told you guys I was always falling asleep in school. My grades weren't bad, but my teachers would always say like, you have no work ethic, or
I've been called lazy.
yeah, or they would say I was like not well raised, and they were offensive
That's because
things.
you're black. They're
Maybe.
racist.
I mean, but to be fair to them, I remember ending the school year and I'm looking at my binder, and there was more drool than ink on my binder. It's not even like I'm not being hyperbolic. That's 100% real. I would go to class and I would fall asleep all the time. Now, part of that was a sleep apnea, but part of it was like I was just bored. And when I would get that feedback, a lot of teachers tried to kind of reach out to me because I still did fairly well on all my tests, but I just never put in the work. I never did my homework. I never did all that stuff. And whenever they would say stuff about the work ethic, I knew it wasn't true because when I was 16, I started working and I never stopped working. By the time I was 17 and a half, I'd already moved out of my mom's place and had my own spot. And my mom never paid for anything. I was already like working full time, getting bonuses. I was doing really good in terms of work. The work I was doing was sales. You understand how engaging that is? Basically, motherfucker, you don't get paid unless you sell people on shit. So I was yapping through every conversation trying to get people to buy products they didn't need. And that was engaging for me. Not because I was scamming people, but because like there's a feedback loop. What I'm doing,
Reward.
but I'm in class, it's just like the teacher's not enthused. They don't care about the subject matter. Everyone's just being weird. It's like, well, I'm not going to focus on this. I remember even like, did you guys ever do an orientation day for college?
Yeah.
Like like the year before you end high school, they let you go to college to go see what the
Yeah.
campuses are like.
Yeah, it's horse shit.
We had our counselor go with us to the university, and they're like trying to get us to go to apply to different places, to different universities, because high schools do well the more students go and get signed up for university. So we go to this criminology class because I was thinking maybe I'll study on crime and stuff like that. The class starts, it's an introduction class, and I'm there. And the teacher starts yapping. It's this big ass fucking room with like 400 seats. 5 minutes into the thing, I fall asleep. This is orientation.
Yeah, you're not even signed up.
I'm not even signed up, and I'm bored out of my fucking mind. And I left that class afterwards, and I said, "There's no way I'm going to university or college. Not because it doesn't work. I'm going to pay money to sleep. I won't learn anything. I'll probably not graduate. This is not for me." And now that I look back on it, it's like, oh, you weren't broken. You just weren't treated. And that's it. The last thing I was going to say beyond just the kid thing, I think generally, I think people just don't know what ADHD is. I talked a little bit about the perception of it, but people just don't know. And I think to this day, that idea of what it is still exists. I'm pretty sure if I spoke about it with most people, they'd be like, oh, you can't. Focus, nigga. Focus.
That's not how it works.
And I think hopefully this kind of illuminates it. But if you guys do your own research.
I love the fact that this motherfucker been saying to me, like, at first when we started working with together, it's like, yo, focus. And I was like, you're one of us.
Well,
you need to focus too. It's just that you're unfocused behind closed door. I'm just real with my shit. Next topic.